Hello everybody and welcome to a Path of Titans tier list video. Today I'll be doing a tier list on the Path of Titans creatures that are currently in the game. Now in this list it does say there are currently ones that are not in the game, so a Kilobator, a Margosaurus, and a Odontosaurus, and the aquatics. I'll be leaving them ones out, as well as the non-playables like Triceratops and Dasplito and stuff like that. However, I'll try and give my opinion on how I think they'll play overall. Now, this is a follow-up to my tier list video on the Isle of Remus dinosaurs. Now, with Path of Titans, I've played all the dinosaurs, and I know more about these dinosaurs than in the Isle, so I feel like this is a very good idea, a good grasp at the tier list for Path of Titans. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know what your tier list options are, what you think they are, and let me know maybe I should do one with mods as well. That'll be very interesting. But let's just dive right into it, shall we? If you are new, feel free to like and subscribe and leave your tier list in the comments down below. But let's start with two dinosaurs that I think are straight away relatively strong dinosaurs. S tier is going to be for like the super strong that I feel like can really survive as an apex on their own. And A tier is like two of them. They're good as a team and stuff like that. And we'll work our way down like that. So straight away, we have Dino Curious. Now, Dino Curious to me is a very interesting dinosaur. It's got that mixed semi-aquatic land lifestyle. It can eat plants and it can eat fish. It's a very versatile dinosaur and it's very strong. And it's a lot stronger than some of the other dinosaurs in the game at the moment. So I'd probably put Dino Curious at S tier. It's a very fun dinosaur. People loved it when it first came out. It's very strong. It's got those good damage bleed claws, and it's also got another attack as well. And then we have Iguanodon. Iguanodon is a very beefy dinosaur. You've got that thumb attack. It's the highest bleed attack in the game, and it's technically one of the best herbivores in the game in its current phase, because it's a very strong dinosaur in my opinion. I really like playing as Iguanodon. It's very strong, it's very safe, but you have to be relatively good at it to be able to use that thumb jab well timed. It has weak spots and it's a very good dinosaur. It's probably the strongest dinosaur as a herbivore. Because of that, it'll go as an S tier and it'd go ahead of Dino Curious if I just move Dino Curious back. Albertaceratops, it's okay. Now that they've made the charge just directional, not that you can move around during it, it kind of does hamper it a lot. But that new charge is relatively strong. You just have to be good at playing as Albertaceratops. I think Albertaceratops is a very good dinosaur. However, it's not S tier, and I really don't think it's an A tier dinosaur either. I'd probably put it at B tier. If you had its old charge where it was directional, it would be A tier. But a B tier is probably more fitting for this dinosaur. I believe it's probably one of the strongest herbivores. However, I do prefer Starako over it. But I do feel like Alberta is a lot better for damage, bleed, and speed. I feel like that's the case. You can use the charge to get from A to B. Starako is very good for defense overall. Alderon, I'm sorry. Alderon is it's one of my least favorite dinosaurs in the game. And you're probably going to hate my judgment on this one. I'd probably put it around D or E. I'm not going to lie. I really don't like playing Alderon. I feel like it's very weak. It was very promising when it first came out, and it kind of just got nerfed after it came out, which let it down. So I'd probably go in an E tier. Next, we have Camptosaurus. Now, Camptosaurus is straight up the S tier. If I could put a tier above S tier, I would. I would so put, you know, Adro above, new, Campto tier. Let's go, Campto tier. There we go. That is like, it has its own tier. It's Campto. It's annoying. It's hell. It's it's a lot stronger than it should be. It's a lot smaller than it should be. So we're having a Campto tier. No one else can join the Campto because Campto is just OP in its own sense. It's just a troll. It's brilliant. And then we've got the mods like Nanosaurus, which just emphasizes on the troll that Campto has, but it's just more annoying and a lot weaker. Then we have Serato. Now, Serato, I think, is better than Alio in a way. It's a very nice looking dinosaur as well. But in terms of what it is, it's probably a D or a C. It definitely can't compete against Albertaceratops. However, in the right hands, it can compete against an Alio. But if an Alio player is strong, it can be outcompeted by the Alio. However, it'd probably be a D tier for me. Concavenator is another interesting one. I think Concavenator is... It's okay. It's got that good bleed. It's got a decent bite. However, it's a lot smaller. So realistically, I'd probably put... is it stronger than Alio? I'm not too sure. Am I being unfair with putting Alio in E tier? Maybe I should put Serato in C tier and Alio in D tier. That would probably be a bit more fitting than Concavenator can go in D tier with the Alio. However, Concavenator's got bleed, but it's a lot weaker. You could probably outdo an Alio as a Concavenator, so I could probably get away with putting it in C because it's probably out of the smaller dinosaurs, one of the best with bleed. And it's a very interesting dinosaur as well. So, next we have Dasplito. I'm sorry, Dasplito, you're going to have to go and leave us. And then we have Dinocus. Now, Dinocus is a good dinosaur. If we're going out of pure ability, it's good for if you're fleeing. It's not good for combat, but it's a good dinosaur nonetheless. It's one of my main dinosaurs I play, not for combat. And if we're going off pure defensive combat, gameplay, it's a fun dinosaur to play. These two in S tier are strong. They're fun to play. They're quite tanky. They can get through things. Alberta's a lot harder to play. Serato, it's a carnivore. It's going to be hard to play if you're up against certain herbivores. Same as Alio being very weak in itself. In terms of enjoyability, Dinocus is a B or an A. In terms of gameplay, it'd probably drop down to a C or a D. So I'd probably put it at a C. Enjoyability for me with Alio is always naff. I've never enjoyed playing as Alio. I've always found it quite hard to play, and I've never really enjoyed it. So that's why Alio's in D tier. Kentrosaurus. Oh my, Kentro is basically a worse version of Stego, and so it goes in D tier. It needs buffing. It needs to be improved. It needs to be better. Personally, I want to see this dinosaur in the game more. I want to see it more enjoyable, more up and just funner overall. I feel like Kentro deserves a buff. Alio deserves a buff. You know what? We'll probably make F tier needs buff. So Kentro would go down there in the... It's not really an F, but it's just not in the current meta. So... Then we have Lambio. Lambio's actually a lot stronger now than it used to be. When it first came out, Lambio only had I think it was a bite attack. It didn't have a tail attack. It was terrible. It wasn't enjoyable at all. But now it's actually very strong. A tail attack from a Lambio is strong enough to actually compete with the other big boys. So I'd probably put Lambio. It's not an Iguanodon. And it's not got the pizzazz of the Albertaceratops. So I'd put it in a B tier. It's better than the carnivores. It can outcompete the carnivores. Obviously, it's a large, tanky dinosaur. So I think it's definitely fitting in that placement. However, now we have Latina Venetrix. Latina Venetrix, some people would argue, is Dinocus but can jump higher and is a little bit slower. So realistically, you'd put it in a C tier. However, if you were to compare it to Dinocus in terms of stats, Latina Venetrix is a little bit more tanky. And you know what? It's not got better skins. If you want the better skins, you go Dinocus. But Latin is I'd go Dinon over Latin any day. But it just is interesting to see that carnivores do fit in a similar meta in terms of what they are. If you're going off of what they are, you'd probably put these two in D tier with the Alio, and you'd have these two in C tier, which are more fitting overall, which I think is fairly decent. It's a fairly fair presumption, and you'd probably go off that. Now I'm going to go over at the end and just go over everything and rejig everything. So now we have these ones left. We have Metri, Acanthosaurus, Sarcosuchus, Spinosaurus, Stego, Strufy, Starako, Suko. Metri, I believe, is the strongest mid-tier carnivore. It's got that poison, it's got the bleed, it works very well in a pack. For a mid-tier carnivore, it would be A tier. However, it can pretty much take on any of these herbivores here. if you are strong enough and you're a good player. So I'd probably put it at top B tier. Now you may be wondering, why isn't A tier full yet? Well, we kind of have an answer for that. Sarcosuchus would have been an S tier if it was like a lot stronger. If it was in the S tier zone, back in its pre-nerf state, it would have been an S tier creature. However, it's going in A tier because it has been nerfed. It's not as strong as Dino Curious, but it holds its own as an aquatic predator. There's definitely a force to be reckoned with if you are any of these other dinosaurs. Spino, I also think, goes in A tier. It's not as strong as Sarko, really. You can kind of get past it with the claw attack. Sarko's very weak in terms of you can just get around it, and it's just meant to stay in the water. Spino, you can go on land. You're defended in the backside and in the front, so you are very much safer than a Sarko. So, as a carnivore, you could put Spino as A tier or S tier, but realistically, compared to everything else, it goes as an A tier dinosaur, in my opinion. Stego, it needs buffing. It would have been an S tier dinosaur, and it's one of the better herbivores, but realistically, is it an A tier? Not many people play it anymore. It needs a buff again. It needs to be a little bit stronger. It would go and needs buff, but it's not a drastic buff, so it'd probably be top B tier in my humble opinion. I believe it should be in top B tier because, you know what, it has potential to go into A and into S, but at the moment, it's a B tier. It's fairly protected. It's fairly fine. I feel like when we get more combat stuff, it would be a better fitting dinosaur. Struthiomimus. If you enjoy running around and eating ants and all that, yes, it's a fine dinosaur. But everything else is an E. I'm sorry. I just cannot stand Struthio. I don't enjoy playing it. I don't find it enjoyable or fun to even play as. Defenseless. Yes, it's got those new attacks, but really, what's it for? What's it really for? It's just there to be a food, like Camto, but Camto is annoying and just a cute little dinosaur. At least it has a booty wiggle. That is just a bird that can be naked. And it's not really that fun to play. Next we have Staracosaurus. Now, you guys might know that I love playing as a Starako. However, Starako is not strong. I really like playing as Staracosaurus. It's definitely like top B tier, end of A tier, because I just find it's a very nice dinosaur. I enjoy playing it. It's quite noob friendly. It's also quite an annoying dinosaur to play if you are outnumbered. Spino and Sarko and Dino and Iguanodon can hold their own if they are outnumbered. Stego can to an extent. Lambio can to an extent as well. Starako can't really. In a 1v1 setting it's good, but everything else, not really. So I'd probably put it ahead of Albertaceratops, but that's mainly my personal preference. It's sitting B tier overall. It's a fairly nice dinosaur in my opinion. Now finally we have Suchomimus. Sucho is not an A tier. I think it's top B tier. Now we have a lot of B tier dinosaurs so far in the game, and that's because Sucho, I believe, it's a nice dinosaur. It's got its caveats that it's fairly good in. It just gets outshone by Iguanodon, Dino Curious, and mainly specifically outshone by Spino and Sarko. It can't really hold its own against those two. Yes, it can compete against Sarko, so you could really move Sarko there and move that there, or do that. However, it can also hold its own against a Stego and these other dinosaurs. But once it's caught out, it's kind of done for, and it's a lumbering giant, so realistically you could put it down into C tier, but other than that I do believe it is probably top B tier in my opinion. Now, this is all my opinion. I'd love to know where you guys sit with this one. What do you guys think with this one? Do you think it's a fairly good assumption? Would you change anything here? Of course, we can't really do anything about these ones at the moment, because they're not in the game. My prediction would be, though, if you were to put Allosaurus in the game, Allosaurus would probably start off as an S tier dinosaur, very strong apex comparatively to Spino and all that, and it'd be a very strong dinosaur, but then would move down after a nerf to top A tier. Barsboldia would go straight to S tier. We've seen it with Shantungosaurus. We'll see it again with Barsboldia. It would go straight there. Eotriceratops, probably an S tier. It's a large, Triceratops, really. It's basically Triceratops. It's strong, it's tanky, it'll definitely hold its own weight as a herbivore. Realistically, you can't really compete against it as a Dasplito, so Dasplito would probably sit as a lower A tier compared to Allo, Spino, and Sarko, but it would still hold its own as an A tier against all these other ones, which will slowly being outshone. However, guys, what is your opinion? Let me know in the comments down below your feedback. Yes, Campto will always hold that special place in my heart because it's a Camptosaurus and I love it. Of course, this is my opinion, as you can tell by this Alioramus one. Probably people like Chaz will definitely hate this assumption of Alio and say Alio is a B tier at best. I feel like people will agree with Strufio. And these obviously compared to all of these, they're going to be outshone. But I do believe the mid-tier carnivores need a little bit more love, unless we get an Apex, because everyone's just only able to play these mid-tiers anyways. Anyways, guys, let me know your opinions down below. Let me know your thoughts on this tier list video. I'd love to know your opinions on it. And yeah, if you do enjoy this video, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. I really want to do more stuff like this. If you have another game that you want me to do, or maybe Beast of Bermuda or something like that, or let me know in the comments down below. Or maybe I could do a dinosaur game, upcoming dinosaur game tier list. Let me know your opinions on that. I'll make one and we'll get that sorted and out there. And yeah, let me know your opinions on this tier list. And if you do enjoy this video, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.